Good evening and welcome to CIS 101. This is week 4, week of February 19, 2018. I hope everything is working well for you. So in this week, I'm going to show you the expectation and briefly walk you through the requirements. And when you look at the blackboard, these are the assignments which I'll do this week. So we are starting Excel and we'll be working on assignments from chapter 1. We have a couple of simulations, in total 5 simulations. So we have the training and then the exam, and like I mentioned before, these are the 3-4 minutes, so they are very short, and usually the training and the exam are very highly correlated. So once you finish with the simulation and the exam, you'll take the test bank assignment or the quiz, and again the password for this assignment is always at the bottom here. So for test bank quiz 1 for Microsoft Excel is going to be heat wave. So type this as it is right here when you're ready to take the quiz, and that should be okay. The other part of the assignment is the beyond the classroom, and these are the instructions on how to go about working on that. You're going to prepare a video explaining what you just did in the assignment, and for the most part, most of you are doing very well. I graded your assignments from PowerPoint, and most of you did a very good job. I did put in some comments, so make sure you review your submissions, and if you have any issues, please let me know. I wanted to bring you to attention of the availability of some resources. We have a discussion forum here, Q&A. You can post some questions here if you're having any issues, or you can also do the cyber cafe. This is usually for you to interact with your fellow students, or you can also use this forum down here for questions in Excel projects. So in case you have any question, you can post it in here, and usually I'll give your colleagues some time to respond, and if I see in a day nobody has responded, I'm usually going to respond to that. So don't suffer in silence. If you have any issue, something that is not very clear, bring it to the attention of your colleagues, and you never know, mostly these issues will be resolved in a timely manner. So again, you click on the assignments. We are in week 4, and these are the assignments that you're going to be working on for this week. So to access these assignments, you will click on My IT Lab, and this will directly take you to the page which has all the assignments. And like I mentioned previously, the assignments are usually displayed by the due date. So if you come on this calendar, you'll see there's nothing for the 21st, 22nd. But if you look on the 26th, you'll see this clock here. And if you click on it, it will give you access to the assignments. So my advice is don't start working directly on these assignments here. What you might want to do is you can scroll down here, and you just might want to, if you have access to the e-textbook, you can go through the e-textbook, or you can go through the PowerPoint presentations, watch a couple of these videos if you have time, and this will help you to at least have a summary of what is contained in this chapter 1. So once you've gone through these videos and you're comfortable, then you can come up here and then start working on your assignments. So one thing I wanted to bring to your attention is when you have worked with Microsoft Word, this is the interface that you're presented with, and is very similar to the same interface that you'll have for Microsoft Excel. They share some of the features, so they have the commands displayed the same, although they are for different operations. So for Microsoft Word, this is the body of where we put in our text and we do all the formattings and things like that. And the same thing when it comes to Microsoft Excel, this is where we are going to be doing all the calculations and computation. So the Excel is divided into what we call columns and rows, and the columns are numbered using the letters, and the rows have the numbers 1, 2 all the way down like that. So the intersection of the column and the row is what is called a cell. So, and the cell have addresses. So for instance, this cell here is D 3 because it's the intersection of D and 3. This cell here is I6, intersection of column I and row 6, and on like that. So anytime that you're working with Excel, you'll be reading or presented with information that starts with a letter of the alphabet followed by a number. And this can go all the way, if you scroll all the way to the right, they get to A and then they start repeating all the way down like that. And the same thing with the numbers, you can go all the way down. So note that anytime that you type any information here, is going to be displayed up here. This is what we call the formula bar, and you can make some changes here on your formula bar and things like that. And usually when you type some information, you can see that all the commands are not available when you're typing. Once you finish typing and you press the enter key, then they become available. So if you want to type something and then come back and do the formatting, you have to finish typing, press the tab key or the enter key, and then you come back and select the cell, and then once you select the cell, it's going to be activated, and then you can go ahead and do your formatting the same way that you do in Microsoft Word. So you can bold, you can underline, you can make it italic, things like that. So let's look at an example of this week's assignment, a practical example. And what you'll do is we'll click on the first one here so that you can see how this is presented. And it's taking a few minutes to load. And this is how the information is going to be presented. So the question, there are only 4 questions in this first assignment, and the same way that we saw in the previous example for Microsoft PowerPoint, you have the instructions down here and you have the learning aids. So in case you're not sure about how to carry out a task, you can read the instructions, you can watch the video, or you can practice the same way. You can skip, you have a number of attempts for each. So for instance, in this case, it tells us enter 101 in cell B5. Remember I mentioned cell reference. So look for column B and row 5 and the intersection of that, that's the cell B5. So there you enter 101, and then once you do that, you press Control and enter. So on your keyboard, you press the Control key and then you hold it down and then press enter, and that will accept the command. And that means that we move to the next one, which says use the fill handle to copy the value from cell B5, the cell B6 through B10. So B5, first identify B5 is here up through to the cells B6 to B10. So basically what they want us to do is to copy all the values moving all the way down here. So what you do is you bring the mouse pointer here at this corner, and it's going to change from a big cross to a small cross like that, and you hold it down and then you can drag all the way down like that. So I'll do that again. You bring the mouse pointer here, hold it down, and then you drag it all the way down like that, and that's part of what you're calling the fill handle, and you see all the values are going to be the same. So use fill options to change the values to a series and things like that. So you can click here and then blah blah blah. So do that. When you're comfortable with that, you go to the next one, enter the value 400 in cell C5, identify cell C5, this is cell C5, and you're supposed to enter the value 400 like that, and then you press the enter key like that, and it moves you to the next instruction. So that's how you go about working with Excel, and this is for the simulations. Once you're done with this simulation, you've done all your 4 questions. Of course, you're going to submit, you won't quit. Then you'll come back, click on the date again, and then you come back and now look to do the exam. And since I started this before, that's why it's asking me whether I want to continue from where I left. So you do the simulation and you'll come back here and enter the title Skyline Estate in cell A1, again cell reference. So where is cell A1? Cell A1 is right here. So what are we supposed to enter? Sky. And remember what we said, it has to look exactly the way it is displayed. So estates, Skyline Estates, and then you press enter, and then you move the next cell reference. Enter the column label increase discrete cell I3, cell I3 is right here. So you type this information as it appears, and when you finish that, you click on the next one and you keep on going on and on like that. So that's how you go about working on these assignments. Let's look at something more advanced in a later chapter. Maybe, what is this, 5? So this is the last one, and look at a few examples. So I hope you'll get a better understanding. So copy the sheet 1 worksheet positions to the left of sheet 1. So this is the Excel worksheet. We have some information here. This is the workbook, and then it has only one sheet. That sheet is named sheet 1. So we are told copy the sheet 1 worksheet position to the left of sheet 1. You come right here, right click, and you come click on move all copy, and you have this command here. So you want to say create a copy, and then you click OK, and you see we have copied this sheet right here. And then you're told move sheet 2-1 tab to the right of the sheet 1 tab. So move this to the right of this. So you bring the mouse pointer here, hold it down, and then drag, and you can see that arrow here is positioning it, showing us where we should drop it. And if you drop it, it's going to be positioned there. See, right there, drop it, and you have it right there. And then it says rename the sheet 1 as September. So sheet 1, you come right here, right click on it, right click, and then you go to rename, and you type the word September as it appears. And then when you finish that, you can move to the next one. Let's see what is there. It says create a header with exploring series in the left section of the name sheet, blah 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 blah, like that. So how do you create the headers? You'll come in here to the margins, and you click on custom margins. It will bring you to this section here, headers and footers, and then you click on custom header, and you can put your information here, input all this information here, if it's center, if it's right, like that. So that's how you go about doing that. So the same thing if you look at the simulation for exercise number 5, it's going to be very similar to the simulation. I mean, the exam is going to be very similar to the simulation. So this is the exam. Copy the sheet 1 worksheet, positions the left of sheet 1. So the same thing that we did in the simulation is the same thing that we're doing in the exam. So just testing the concept to make sure that we understand. Select both quarter 1 and quarter 2 sheet tabs. Select run skill orientation. So basically, if you want to select, these are the 2 worksheets, you click on the first one, and then you press the control key on your keyboard like that. That's how you make sure that both of them are selected. And then you'll come to page layout, you click on orientation, and then you have landscape like that, and you can see that command has been finished. And then set a 1-inch top margin. You come right here, click on margins, and then you click on custom margin, and that's where you set that up. So you want to make sure this is 1, and then you center horizontally like that, and keep going on like that. So sheet, things like that. So that's how you go about working on that part of the assignment. I'm not doing it for you, so I'm just showing you, so in case you're having some challenges, you'll be able to wiggle out. Okay, so remember we have the simulation, exercise 1 up to 5, simulation and exam, and then you have the test bank quiz, which is down here, and the password for that is heatwave. And then the last thing you'll do is beyond the classroom, and the files for all these exercises, you'll find them right here for the beyond the classroom. Just in case somebody doesn't know how to get the files, they are right here. These are the student data files. So anytime that you ask to carry out a beyond the classroom, sometimes they might ask you to use a certain file. So remember, the files are found through this link. Otherwise, I wish you the best. Keep in touch, and remember there are very many resources available at your disposal. Make use of them, and note that these assignments are due by Monday, February 26, 2018. This is 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All the best.